67, 69. Matter of fact, we're gonna get into the 69 and 70. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tie them both into it because now, as I talk about the 69, I might as well tie in the commuter bus line. So you notice right off the bat, 69 is exactly how MTA, has a plan. It's only this little minor detail. Say no changes, but there's this little change right here where I got going up Martin Luther King Boulevard, then lane over, and come back down. But besides that, you notice there's no red line going all the way down that. So you're like, oh my god, did this guy really just go with what BoMLink proposed and saying there's no need for the 70? Yeah, give me a second, because I'm about to go down to commuter bus lane. Now we're going to see the commuter bus lines for the first time. So you got the number 70 bus line. Now you got the 210. So as far as what the MTA proposal, they want to get rid of both three. They want to get rid of the 210, 215, and the number 70 bus line. Number 70 runs local between Annapolis and Patapsco Light Rail. In fact, I can highlight it. So number 70 runs local service between Annapolis and Patapsco Light Rail along Ritchie Highway. The 210, 215, which I didn't draw, I forget which one. I think it's a 210. Let's see. I think it's a 210 that goes into Kent Island, or it could be the 215. But nonetheless, you got Annapolis. You got them both of them connects into Annapolis. One of them goes into Kent Island. But they take I-97, so they take I-97 around all the way up until they get to the Beltway, then take the Beltway to 295, which is right here, and take 295 into the city. And so I decide you can kill 3 birds, or 2.5 birds with 1 stone. So I decide I get it, MTA. Running the number 70 bus line could be a bit of an inefficient drawback. But you also have a commuter bus line. Now you're saying the commuter bus line is not getting enough ridership to justify continue running it. So I decide, you know what? You know what will help? Have a contractor do it. Let's be real. If we're into the monetary aspect of how to run public transportation, hiring a contractor to operate a bus service is cheaper than having your own people, your own employees operate it. And I kind of got to agree with MTA, but the thing is, we still need service going from Annapolis, from Baltimore City to Annapolis, or at least Annapolis into the Baltimore, metropolitan area. Well, you get what I'm saying. But so I figure to pretty much make everyone happy, and because Academy Bus, so Academy Bus, as you see in the picture right here, Academy Bus's bus yard is actually here in Brooklyn. Well, I'm not here in Brooklyn, but it's in Brooklyn Park. It's in Brooklyn. No, Brooklyn Park's in Aaron County. It's in Brooklyn. So you see right off the bat, Academy Bus is literally Academy Bus doesn't really have to go far, like absolutely nowhere. A straight shot into downtown, and then originally a straight shot on the Ritchie Highway. So for 210, I decide combining 210 and 70 together. Now the thing is, as you see right here, the headway, like off peak, for the most part, is going to run every 90 minutes. So yes, it may not be, as far as like the headway, for the most part, running every day, 90 minutes, it may not be the most sufficient, and every hour during weekdays, 65 minutes, but every hour, it may not be the most efficient, but the one benefit you get from it, if you're a Annapolis resident, you still get the same level of service as you got from sort of the same level of service from the 70. Now, it may require you to pay a bit extra. I'm hoping not to go beyond ridiculous amount. Like, okay, you got paid, you got kick out like $4 or $5 to go from Annapolis to Baltimore. I think like somewhere along the lines, like probably an extra, maybe like an extra dollar and 50. Well, I wouldn't say that. Probably like an extra 60 cents or something like that. Somewhere close to like probably like an extra dollar maybe, because now we having a commuter bus line running. But the benefit of it is you got a straight shot on Ritchie Highway, because Ritchie Highway is, as as described, is literally a highway. Like anytime I do the 70, and like I said, number 70 is one of my favorite bus lines. I don't want to see that thing going, but I get that MTA is looking at like it's not sufficient enough for us to run it. But at the same time, you do have two commuter bus lines that is doing almost exactly the same thing the 70 does, and they're going straight into downtown. So why not reroute the 210 to take over the 70? Follow the 70 up. Now the thing is, it won't be connecting to Baltimore Washington Medical Center. Anyone wants to complain about that, I'm sorry. If you want it there, I'll put it there. But I pretty much was trying to find the most straightforward, quickest way to justify its service. What is giving you, what's being put on the table. So you have a straight shot connection to Cromwell Station, Glenburn. So Glenburn Station for the light rail. So you got the straight shot connection to the light rail. That's the one benefit from it. Those people in that list, like, look, connect to the light rail and good. Now you get an added bonus. You get a connection. You can get a connection into downtown. We talk about all day service into downtown if that's the case. I'm thinking like maybe like during off peak and weekends, it just go to Patapsco. But I'm thinking like if because it is a contractor, you can kind of go. You can be a little more lenient and be like, okay, we can just send it to downtown. And that could be the added benefit. It's like now you ain't got to worry about getting off at Glenburn Station and having to take the light rail. You literally could just stay on this bus. Maybe it may require you to pay an extra dollar, maybe an extra $1.25, but you have a straight shot service into downtown, and you're not really missing any more. You're not, it's not a major drawback to the service. And for the most part, as you see on Sundays, because a lot of people who relies on the 70, they know it's right off the bat. 90 minutes, that's weird, because I used to gotta wait like 2.5 hours for a bus. Yes, that's true. You literally gotta wait 2.5 hours for a 70. This one you only gotta wait 90 minutes and you got straight shot into downtown, to Fayette Plaza. So that's pretty much what I want to do with the 70. Combine the 210, use the purpose. So you got them there, take advantage of them. 210 merge with the 70, become one line. It would benefit a lot of people. It may require, like I said, again, it may require paying an extra dollar or something. You don't want to. I hope MTA don't do it and try to like screw people with a ridiculous amount of fare. Just like, look, we giving you this added bonus, a straight shot into downtown, more efficient service, especially on weekends, a more efficient service. A comfortable ride because it's a commuter bus, and it's a straight shot. You just gotta pay an extra $1.25, maybe an extra $1.50. I think these people then that was wouldn't mind it, because it's like, well, as long as nothing really changing on it, I can still get to where I need to go to from Annapolis to Baltimore, then back, or vice versa. It's an added bonus to everybody. Everybody's happy. MTA gets to save money. Academy Bus gets to get more money. The riders get a straight shot to downtown and don't have to rely on insufficient service from MTA itself. So we move on to that the 72 bus line. So that's a 210. I'm gonna keep the green lines up. So just hoping there ain't too many lines from y'all, but the 72, it's pretty much the same thing as it's basically what the purple does today. Really, I didn't have to do all this because I think the only reason I did that because I wanted to have the Catonsville section run 24 hours except for just the Paradise. I don't really like the Paradise just being the only part. So I decided to have the Catonsville section be the 24 hours. Now the thing is, I get there's probably gonna be some people who takes the purple and has gotten used to taking the purple all the way to Johns Hopkins Hospital, and they're gonna be pissed and why not. But it makes sense of why you don't like, it makes sense of why it's not going out there. And, it's a legitimate reason why. It's just not sufficient enough when you got two other bus lines doing it. You got the blue and orange going out there. You got Subway. There's no need for the purple go out there for real. Everyone loves a one-seat ride, but some stuff is just not sufficient, efficient to keep going. So that's the 72. 72 is based because the proposal is to have the purple short turn at the short into City Hall. So this is basically what the 72 is. In case you wondering, in downtown, I don't have any of my bus lines laying over in that piss hole of City Hall. Yeah. I like, no, take them out. Oh boy, we're gonna get to the 74. And I'm gonna take my time with this one. So the 74 bus line is gonna go from downtown along Washington Boulevard in entirety, and it's gonna break the filter. Like I said, there's always this filter between Baltimore, the Baltimore region, and Howard County for some ridiculous reason. So I decided to break it twice and have my 74 because the Baltimore County, Howard County line is, I want to say like 895. Let's say, like, for reference, 895 is the Howard County, is the county border. It's going to break that, take Washington Boulevard far into Howard County, past Elk Ridge. Then you got two branches. You got one that connects to Parkway Center, which is what the 75 does. We're going to get to that. You got one that connects to Parkway Center, and then one that connects to Jessup. And so, and then you got a little deviation. You got this one deviation, and of course, I think you've seen off the bat. There's nothing connect. Well, yeah, there's nothing besides the 37 being right here and going this way. There's nothing between Hammond's Ferry and Hillfort Farms Road until we get right here. But even then, the 74 is just going to this roundabout and come back out. So yes, I'm forcing these people to walk down. It's just not practical to do all this. 74 is going to do all that. Is every truck going to go into Kaiser, and everything going to Washington Boulevard. Now, as I get back to Howard County, again, Parkway Center is a takeover. The 75's branch, as you see, the 75 is right here. The new 75 is right here. Click on it. It's no longer going to go to Parkway Center. The 74 is. Now, Jessup. Now, I'm going to give you a little short story. So, before I started driving for MTA, I've been driving for MTA for the past 3 years. I used to drive buses for RTA for, well, a year, since from 2016 to 2017. So, one of the bus lines I used to do a lot is the Silver. In case you're wondering, the Silver goes from Columbia. It basically goes from Columbia, connects to Jessup, connects to Renumbered, and goes to the airport, or at least it used to. So when I was there in 2016, Silver went to the airport. Now here's the thing: this 74, as dramatic as I'm about to make it, this 74 is going to change a lot of people's lives. I'm not kidding. This 74, I've been contemplating time and time again that you need to have a bus line that is going to link between Baltimore and Jessup. This area of Jessup, warehouses is in abundance. There's warehouses up and down here. There's warehouses up and down. There's warehouses up and down this whole section of Washington Boulevard. That is money on the table for people in Baltimore who are struggling, for those who claim they are struggling. But nonetheless, someone who doesn't have a car, they need a job, they need a good connection, a more efficient connection to where all the jobs are, which are in Jessup and Howard County. This 74 is going to change their lives. And I say this because here's what MTA or MDOT, whoever's in plan, they're going to, I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm sorry. But here's what plan is going to say. Planning is going to say, oh, if those people need to connect to Jessup, they can just hop on this 310, 320, or the 320, because the 310 is literally just 95 Snow River Park and Ride and go to Columbia Mall. 320 does all this Washington Boulevard stuff. So just follow along with me. So the 320 takes 95 until it gets right here to 195. Once it gets right here to 195, this little stretch, it comes right here and jumps on the Washington Boulevard. And it takes Washington Boulevard all the way down to the entirety. And then it starts, it pretty much just serves this whole entire area, this whole industrial complex and stuff. So you got business centers and industrial warehouses and whatnot. You got 320 connecting through there, do all this, and then once it does all this connection in this general area, this general section, then it comes up here and does this little loop that got connected with the 310, 320, and then come back. I think it connects to Snow River Parking Lot, and then go to Columbia Mall. That sounds all great. You're like, well, what's the point of having 74? Well, obviously, in case you wanted, 320 only runs during rush hour. Oh, and to add insult to it, it runs reverse peak. Morning rush hour 310 is Columbia to downtown. 320, again, morning rush hour is downtown to Columbia, connecting those people to the jobs. And then it's vice versa on the evening rush hour, the PM rush hour. But the thing is, the 320 does not run efficiently. And it's not because of the service. It's literally a commuter bus line that runs during rush hour. Now the thing is, if someone who works up until like 4 o'clock in the evening, they work like, I don't know, someone who works like 9 to 5, it benefits them. But what about those who try to get out here to Jessup and it doesn't work at 9 to 5? They work any other time. They gotta be to work any other time, like after 6 o'clock or something like that, or before 9 o'clock or something like that. What are they doing? They don't have anything to get them out there. Now again, service developers gonna say, well, they could take the 310, 320. The same thing they saying for the people in 150. I'm like, okay, but what about Ellicott City? The 310, 320 doesn't go to Ellicott City. Oh, well, they could take RTA. Yeah, but can you just have a bus line like I did, the 77 link, and then they can worry about getting to Columbia? It's type of, oh, you gotta come all the way and do this, and then come all the way to come back. And on top of that, it's like, oh, don't forget, you gotta be on that bus during rush hour, otherwise you're not gonna get out here. So you got that. But on top of that, they also gonna say, well, we have, well, again, they're gonna always gonna point it at RTA. So again, when I was driving buses for RTA, this is what people had to do, and I'm gonna try to make it less distracting. So this is what people had to do. So let's just say someone from somewhere here in Baltimore, you already somewhere in the Baltimore region and whatnot. So you already spent about an hour and a half of your life just to get downtown. So we're gonna count it 1 hour. You get downtown, then you gotta wait for the light rail. Considering how long you gotta wait for the light rail, let's just say you had to wait about 20 minutes for the next light rail train to come. So now you get on a light rail train. Now you gotta take a 35, if I'm not mistaken, a 30-minute ride. You gotta take a 30-minute ride to BWI, and hopefully you own the BWI train and not the Cromwell train. So if you're on the BWI train, that's good. But you got to take a 30-minute ride into BWI Airport. Okay, so now that's, let's see, that's an hour and 45 minutes of your life gone. Now let's just put it like this: you gotta wait for the silver. So we going back to when I was driving the silver. So when I was at RTA in 2016. So the silver comes into the airport. The thing is, the next silver doesn't come for another hour. And don't let it be on Sundays, because on Sundays it runs every 2 hours. So we're just gonna go with weekdays. Sundays is an hour. Let's just say you just missed that silver. Now you gotta wait another hour. So you're already at 1 hour and 45 minutes into your life being thrown into shambles. Now you gotta wait another hour. So now that's 2 hours and 45 minutes of your life wasted. Now the silver finally gets there. Now we taking a 15-minute trip to Runner Mills, or 10 minutes. I think it's about like a 10-minute trip, but 10-minute trip there, a 5-minute trip up 100, and then a 10-minute trip to Jessup. So we finally get to Jessup. So overall, if you keep track of everything, the average person to get from Jessup, to get from right here, I'm going to pull it back up, to get right here in this general section of Jessup, the average person to get from the city, wherever they are, from the city into Jessup, they spend at least 3.5 hours of their life just getting to the job in Jessup, or just to find a job in Jessup. And like I said, it's not considering what they had to do before that, so they probably had spent another hour. So it's 4 hours of somebody. So literally, if someone were to do a round trip from their home to Jessup, then back home, they done an 8-hour day on top of the 8-hour shift they had to do at their job. So that's 16 hours of your life gone. You only got 8 hours of time to spend for yourself. You know how you can fix that? You know how you can make life easier? Because the reason these jobs out here in Jessup doesn't get filled in as quickly, or the turnover rate is always at a high level, is because those people who work those warehouse jobs, I guarantee you, 60% of them does not own a car. That's a huge number. 60% of people who work at these warehouses in Jessup or in Howard County in general does not own a car. And they had to spend 4 hours of they got to spend literally an entire work day just of traveling just to get to these jobs, back and forth from home to the job. Literally, MTA, listen, you can save these people's lives 3 to 4 hours of their lives by literally putting this one bus line. You want to know how long this thing takes to get from downtown? And I've been testing it a number of times, no matter how much stuff I add to it. You want to know how much time it takes to get from downtown to Jessup via Washington Boulevard? As long as I'll put it like this, as long as I don't have to deal with the CSX train that comes along across Washington Boulevard, literally the 74 only takes 1 hour, less than 1 hour. Matter of fact, not even 1 hour. It takes less than an hour, 50 minutes. I've timed this so many times. At night, let me see, midday would take only about an hour. Rush hour, about an hour and 5 minutes, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. Any other time, and weekends, 50 minutes. MTA, think about it. if you just have one local bus line, and I'm not talking about a commuter bus line, no offense against the 310, 320, getting up here again from the city to Jessup, on a bus line that all it has to do once it leaves downtown, it just gossip. All it has to do is go in downtown, no matter where it is, in downtown. Right now, you see it goes to Shop Tower. So it goes from downtown straight down Washington Boulevard, even with these little 2 deviations. And you may have a branch that goes to Dorsey Run, and that's an added benefit for these people. You know, I gotta defend that same fold in any way, shape, possible. But nonetheless, we're gonna move on. Try to get through this real fast. 75. Yes, you're not looking at it wrong. Gonna be some weird changes to it. So 75 for the most part is still the same between Runner Mills and Nursery Road until we get into Nursery Road to Pumphrey. Then you notice a little deviation. And when you haven't looked on the left side, you probably should be looking pay to the left side because that's how you get an idea of what's going on. So it's gonna go from Runner Mills to downtown University Center. Now you may say, well, okay, so it's going into downtown. So you're not mistaken. I'm going to have the 75 go into downtown on all trips all day. I won't have it going to Patapsco Light Rail. So you see this one branch, it will not be connecting to Patapsco Light Rail. I'll be taking that out. The only other bus line from there's only going to be like 2 bus lines from right here at Patapsco, and that was going to Patapsco Light Rail Station, or going to Light Rail, and that's the 37 and 29, which is the crosstown routes. See right here. So the 37 Patapsco and the 29 Patapsco. 75 is going to continue straight, so we're going to Patapsco Light down, it's going to continue straight on Annapolis Road. So again, everything is going to be the same. The 75 is going to connect to North Lithicum Light Rail. So once it gets to Nursery Road and Annapolis Road, it's up to make a left turn. It's gonna make a right turn. So basically, it's gonna go south, connect to North Lithicum Light Rail. But you got like 2 hotels right here and a couple of restaurants, and it pretty much is a benefit for somebody at night because when the light rail starts running after 1 o'clock. So when the light rail starts running after 1 o'clock, sort of. On weekdays and Saturdays, Sundays, light rail starts running after I think 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. After like 7 or 9 o'clock, I think like after 7 o'clock, light rail starts running. But nonetheless, the 75 will still provide connection. And with that, except for the 75 hopping on 295 and bypassing everything, because no longer, even when it's a 17, everyone kind of forgets, oh, that bus line that goes to the airport also doesn't come past Patapsco also. Instead of just hopping on the highway, you still have a connection to Patapsco Avenue. You may not be going straight into Patapsco Light Rail. And especially at night, it's literally like, look, if I can just get into, I think a lot of people is kind of annoyed with the 75 because it will hop on 295, which means if they live in South Baltimore, they gotta go into downtown, or at least the Greyhound, then backtrack to come back. Except of, let's just say you get right to Patapsco Avenue, you right where you are in South Baltimore. Doesn't matter which way you gotta go. Just like, look, I'm here in South Baltimore, I'm fine, I can find my way to where I need to go. And so 75 is going to take Annapolis Road straight up, and this is going to be the service to do all day, every day. Going to Westport, and so this is going to provide a fill-in. So as I said before, I'm being a hypocrite, but and trust me, take it from me, I used to live in Lakeland. I was born and raised in Lakeland. I used to live on Marlborough Avenue. I used to have, me and my mother used to walk out to the bus stop on Hansford Road. We had 3 bus lines to choose from. Me and my mother used to walk out to Hansford Road. We had the 2730 and the 22. So yes, in case you're wondering, the 22, the same 22 that and I'm about to pull up. The same 22 that right here used to come all the way into South Baltimore to Brooklyn. This same 22, Mondawmin, and then come all the way circumnavigating into South Baltimore, following exactly what the 29 does. Can you imagine being on a bus line like that? And then it changed up, became the 16 to 29. So the 29 you see today used to be the number 16. And then you had the 51 with the two branches. I had a bus line that filled in. I did have a bus line that went from Kaiser, that went along Harnsbury Road, went through Baltimore Highlands, connected to Patapsco Light Road. They came back up Patapsco, go turn up Harnsbury Road. They came past Mount Winans and did all this, go to downtown. I had a bus line. But after looking at the 37, what I could do with the 37 and take advantage of it, because the 37 can literally do that whole thing and fill in a much needed gap for a lot of people for a crosstown feeder. And because the 29 is there, it may not be efficient. It may not be the most efficient, but it's efficient enough. And then on top of that, I got a same 5 bus line. That's like now you got a straight shot to downtown. Now straight shot to the airport. Except I had to rely on the light road. I decide not to put anything back on Harnsbury Road. I think like probably the first time in 60 years, there will be no buses on Harnsbury Road until you get to Lansdowne. But otherwise, this whole section between Daisy Avenue and this part of Waterville Avenue, there'd be no buses. And I could always find an alternative. Like I said, I can always take suggestions. I know these residents here is not gonna like that. You may say I can, it's easy for me to say, well, I do got the same 5, but it's gonna be on Atlas Road. But you're still connected downtown. So like if you're in Lakeland, all it takes for you to cut through Lakeland down here to Wegworth Lane by Lakeland Park and get a bus. So you add 2 buses, until you add 2 bus stops right here, going the odd direction. Because why the hell not? I don't get why they don't do that for 71, but 71 ain't gonna be it anymore. So I'm in a losing battle. But nonetheless, I feel bad because again, I used to live in Lakeland, and me and my mother relied on taking the buses on Harnsbury Road, and I just kind of taken that away. So I'm trying to think of alternatives, but as far as like right now, what's more efficient? Right now, the 29 being on Patapsco Avenue, connecting straight to the light road into downtown, and then the same 5, being in a general vicinity is more efficient than putting a bus on Harnsbury Road just to fill in that little gap. That's like ticky-tacky. It's pretty ticky-tacky with the ride ship. That's the unfortunate part. The ride ship is pretty ticky-tacky. Now I would say, you can say, well, it's not a walking distance. You got me there. I can't argue against it. I'm just going by what's the most efficient method and try to tie in everything. But as far as like right now, I can't think of. I could send the same 5, but then it'd just be making the same 5 a little bit too much than what it needs to do. It's kind of unfortunate. I don't really have an answer for it, but I try to find ways around it and try to find ways to make up for it. And I can always change something. So we're gonna move on to the 76. 76 is going to pretty much stay the same, except when you get in downtown again. As I've been talking about in the past 2 videos, we're getting to downtown at last. 77, we already talked about that. 78, matter of fact, we already talked about these in the last ones. So the 81, as you know, as far as like what BaltimoreLink or what MTA is planning on doing, is having the line cut short to Mondawmin. Had a line cut short of Mondawmin, had 2 branches that goes to Northwest Hospital or right to Milford Mill station. So as I said in the first video, the first part, the 33 is going to fill in the 81's gap. It's going to fill in that 81 gap to Northwest Hospital because it's becoming now it's going to become a true north crosstown bus line. as it extends from Mount Washington Light Rail through Milford Mill and Pickwick, through Pickwick and Milford Mill to Northwest Hospital. Now there's a new 81 bus line, so it's a major change. So it's going to affect the line, the 81 and 89. So the 81 is going to be rerouted from Milford Mill and extended to Mondawmin. So now you got continuity on Liberty Heights Liberty Road. So on Liberty, from Mondawmin to as far as society can take you before you get to Ellsburg. I would like to send a bus out to Ellsburg, but it wouldn't be, I don't know. Who knows? But you have a continuity on Liberty Road, on Liberty. And then right here, I'm going to get into that. So, but for the most part, Deer Park is the same. And then it's going to take Owens Mills Boulevard. So it's going to have a deviation to Deer Park, come back, and then considering where it's going to go out Owens Mills Boulevard. Take Lakeside Boulevard, connect to the shopping center over there, and connect to Owens Mills Metro. Then connect to Owens Mills Metro, it will either lay over at Owens Mills or go out to Redland Court. And I don't think I added in there, I just have round sound. But because they keep developing up here, I'm kind of like, yeah, you probably need to run this bus, on weekends too. I mean, why not? I mean, if it's not going to cost any more, just run on weekends as well. So, for the most part, it runs up the Redland Court on weekends. And then, like after, I want to say like after probably like 9 o'clock. After like 9 o'clock, that's when it'll be shortened to Owens Mills Mall. And just lay over at Owens Mills Mall. But on all trips, it'll be cutting through Owens Mills Mall. So when it goes to Owens Mills Metro and comes back out, all trips will be going through Owens Mills Mall, looping around. So it's not that like if it's the Redland Court branch, it's bypassing, the town center. It's going to be going right into the town center on all trips. So keep that in mind. Now here's the one thing with this Redland Court porch on the route. There is a bus line. I forgot to put it back, but the existing bus lines. The 89 does go up Red Brook Boulevard to connect to the Red Brook and stuff. But I decided to take that out and just keep the ride. The thing is, I'll put it like this. You do have patrons, and I've done the 89 because I'm out Northwest. I've done the 89. There is patrons right in this little business complex. But it's sort of like rush hour. And then any other time, you basically just running through there and not picking up anybody. And so I decided, kind of had to make a sacrifice and make it more efficient. I decided not to have it go for Red Brook and just, unfortunately, it's like I walk down Red Brook just to get to Red Run Boulevard. Keep track of everything because there's a whole bunch of red stuff. So you got Red Run Boulevard that the bus is on. You got Red Run Boulevard that the bus is traveling on. This branch is Red Brook Boulevard. And then the end point is Redland Court. So you got Red Run Boulevard, that's traveling right now. Red Brook, the deviation to the business center, and Redland Court, which is the layover point. I'm going to jump into this little issue because I talked about this in the previous video about the 54 and how Joppa Road is held under a chokehold for MTA because of political reasons. It's sort of the same deal with the 81, and that's a reason why MTA they have a legitimate argument of why they probably would take service out of Deer Park. And it's the same deal with what happened with, what happened with Joppa Road way back with the 102 Express bus line. The 102 Express bus line used to run across our service, and they wanted the 102 to run on Joppa Road, but the residents vetoed it, or they turned it down. They pitched a bitch. And of course, MTA like, all right, we ain't arguing that. We're gonna hop on the Beltway. So it's sort of the same deal because your ridership for this 81, and even with the new 81, your ridership is in this general area. Because these are on, this is apartment complexes, Deer Park Apartments, obviously. There's apartment complexes, and these are townhouses. So townhouses up and down through here, this little stretch. The problem is, of course, political. The residents who are homeowners, let's say like right here, anything on this side of Murrysville. Now, there's a reason why, if you look on the map, in class of 81, if you look on the map, follow the blue bus stops, you see there are two bus stops. You got one bus, you got two at Liberty and Murrysville for our direction. Now look at this. Whenever I do the 81, the last stop, the official last stop for this bus line is here in front of the shopping center, Deer Park Shopping Center. Now make the right turn on Murrysville Road. There's apartment complexes right here. There could be a bus stop right here. Why there's no bus stop? Townhouses. As soon as I make a turn, there's townhouses right here. I could put a bus stop. Why is there no bus stop? Let me come back around. Now you see right here, this is technically not even a bus stop for us. That's supposed to be a layover, but a layover is actually back here. There's a reason why there's no stops right once the 81 turns off Liberty Road, and that's because just like what's happening on Joppa Road, you got the homeowners who fought tooth and nail to buy their property and all that stuff. They don't want to see, they don't want to see the property value going down because somewhere down the line, it's only like, all right, somewhere down the line, we're going to sell this house. So I don't want my property value to go down. And unfortunately, the one with the biggest pockets have the bigger influence. Unfortunately, people in Deer Park, no matter what they say, no matter how they voice their opinion, they're not going to have an advantage because they're not the ones paying out the bucks to keep someone in political office. And again, you got delegates or whatever who represents a general area, a general neighborhood. They're going to say, well, we don't want this here because this we concerned about safety, blah blah blah. The value of this area is going to go down, blah 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 blah. We have an issue with the buses making a lot of noise. Yes, for a bus that runs every 40 minutes, on county roads, you have an issue with noise. There's no potholes on Liberty. There's no potholes anywhere on this part that the 81 is doing. So you don't have to worry about the noise and the rumbling because the 81 runs every 40 minutes. It's political, and unfortunately, it always plays a role. And unfortunately, it's up to MTA actually using, trying to find ways to make amends, because they found a way to make amends with this. They say, all right, we still want a bus going for here. We still need a bus going to Deer Park. It's demanded. It's just that we're going to work out a deal. We're just going to have the bus not pick up. We're going to have the bus pick up and drop off solely at Liberty and Murrysville Road. We're just going to have it turn around. That's all you gotta do. Just turn around and come back on Liberty Road. It don't have to do any drop offs or any pickups for anybody here. It don't have to look like a bus even goes for it because there's no bus stop. So there's no indication that a bus goes for this. So if you just happen to stand outside the door every 35 minutes, then a bus pops up. But apparently that's not enough. And so it's up to MTA pretty much fighting against it. They're going to succumb to the bigger voice because these riders are going to say, well, we're just going to sell a property, but then someone saw a bus go through there and they dropped the value. Simple as that. It happens all the time. And not just in Baltimore or in the state of Maryland, it happens everywhere. But the Baltimore region is notorious for it. Unfortunately, we got petty ass people in this damn metropolitan area. So unfortunately, that also plays a role why they are decided. But see, that's kind of playing a role in why they getting rid of it. They plan on trying to get rid of A1. But again, it doesn't justify getting rid of it because you have no reason to. You can always just keep it and just have it go to Roundtown like you do. I don't know, after like 9 o'clock. You do that after 9 o'clock anyway, when you got cutting off at Brownstown. So why don't you just do that if they got an issue up here? But MTA, just like, if it worked the first time, if we have a hassle the first time, the second time around, fuck it. We don't feel like fighting against it. We're just gonna listen to them. You can't because you got the roster. You gotta pick up a whole bunch of people. I do this 81 all the time, and I still do it as my regular run. There's people that gets on here, an abundance of people, but political outlash from these people who owns property here and all this stuff, maybe even here too. They're gonna pitch a bitch and they're gonna get their way. The bigger pocket always has the bigger influence. The bigger pocket has the biggest mouth and it has the bigger influence. There you go. Words to live by. But nonetheless, I go back to my new A1. So I decide if I know this is going to be an issue, at least send it right here. Now, this property is owned by the Liberty Road Volunteer Fire Department. So I'm thinking if MTA can find a way, if it's not going to be expensive, to turn this little section into a bus loop. You just get permission from the Liberty Road Volunteer Fire Department. Like, can we buy this land just for the bus to turn around at? We just need it as a bus loop to turn around. They probably just say, hey, it's all yours. But then again, I'm trying to think if this was, because I don't think this the fire department's land though. That's kind of hard because it looks like it was something here before that. You can see the plot, but nonetheless, hopefully if there's even a sheer chance, MTA decide we still want surgical at Deer Park, we're just going to decide to, suck up and spend about, I don't know, like $3 million on a bus loop as a turnaround point. That's better than just succumbing to the pressure. But nonetheless, that's why I got planned out like that, just in case, as an option. But for the most part, the 81 is an extension of Mondawmin, as well as an extension to into the Orange Mills area, which would be new now because, as you see, there's nothing filling in that gap. There's always gaps in when it comes to MTA, so I'm filling in the gaps there. Connection to Orange Mills. Now that's even more benefit for a lot of people because now they don't have to worry about taking one bus line, transferring to another, then taking the subway back up. It's literally just hop on one bus, it's going straight to Orange Mills. Other one, straight down Liberty Road. 82. Oh yes, 82. The one bus line MTA feels, there's not enough ridership on this service. Yeah. Oh, the bus drivers that drive these very bus lines for you? Yeah, let's get rid of it. Yeah, still pisses me off. But 82, I didn't change it. No touches. I'm keeping it the way it is. Now, I tried a number of times to kind of switch it up and find ways around it. Try combining with different bus lines, do some extensions, do all this, but after overall, I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm keeping it the way it is. No point. It does what it has to do today. No point touching it. Now, I do want to send it to Wrightstown Plaza. I do want to send it to Wrightstown Plaza, but, that's not worth the time. 83 is going to stay the same, no changes. 85, oh yes. So 85 is going to see extension. So again, because the Lime is not going to see, so the Lime is going to merge with the 81, which means the 81 is only going to Mondawmin, which also means there's going to be nothing between Penn North, because the 85 is still going there, but there's going to be nothing between Penn North and really downtown McCullough Homes. So I decided to make up for it, for what MTA is proposing, and extend the 85. Yes, I decided to extend the 85 to downtown, like the hell with it. You know, why the hell not? So the reason I did that is one personal reason why I chose to send the 85 straight down Pennsylvania Avenue, really pretty much into downtown. And that's because I hate laying over at Penn North. I tried to avoid the 85 strictly for that reason. I don't want to deal with Penn North. I don't want to deal with Park Heights in general, but I definitely do not like laying over at Penn North. I don't get why I don't get why the 85 lays over there, but they got the 85 laying over at Penn North is a shit bin. Put in perspective. And so I decided. So at first I had my 85 go to Lakeview Towers, and then I decided, and then until so then I decided, oh, when we bring back the number 5. So if I'm bringing back the number 5, what's the point of having the 85 going through the Lakeview Towers? And I started realizing, because I shortened my 81 tomorrow down, I don't have anything on Pennsylvania Avenue whole stretch. So I'm like, well, 85, buckle up, because you're going to do a little bit more. So it's going straight down Pennsylvania Avenue. So now everybody in Park Heights is going to love it, because now they get straight shot service down Pennsylvania Avenue, and they get a connection to downtown, and you be close on Lexington Market. So congratulations, I pretty much screwed my own co-workers. Come back up and lay over at right. I think I had a bus stop right here, and it's gonna lay over right about here, like somewhere in the middle, right about here. Now I'm thinking about sending it all the way down to down Pratt Street, because why not? Because if I'm trying to do this whole have the bus line, every bus line connect to each other, I probably should do that. I'll probably go ahead and do that. I'll do that right now. Now, when the thing is, when we look on this map, it's not going to change, but on here, unless I reset that map. Let's see, downtown cool. So you've seen the ads in first hand. I'm making these videos a little bit longer than it's supposed to be, but you get what you get. So I'm gonna go right here and make it everybody happy. So now it's gonna go to Pratt Street. There you go. Now we made everybody happy. It's gonna go straight to Pratt Street. Wait, now that I think about it, now that I did it, now I gotta even these out. It's gonna take about a couple seconds. So I can even these out. Because I'm a perfectionist, I gotta keep it perfect, as perfect as possible. That should be it. Brown. I think you see in firsthand, like literally, because if you would notice, I only did like only moved shifted. English. I only shifted about like 2 bus lines, and you're not fooled. I only got 2 bus lines that's running on this whole stretch of Pratt Street. Alright, so now the 85 is going to go all the way down to Pratt Street. So now that links to every other bus line. So to University Center. Okay. I'm going to clear this up. Alright, so we're going to pretty much finish it up from here. So that's the 85. It's not going to show up on here unless I reset it and just preview on here, but that's what it looks like. 86, new bus line. Yes, I'm bringing back the M9 bus line. So the 87, 89, I've done the 89. I actually, funny enough, for as long as I've been in Northwest, I have yet to do the 87. Now, I've ridden the 87 when I was not a bus driver. So as just a patron, I've ridden the 87 a number of times. I already know what it looks like going in. But I've ridden and driven the 89 in abundance. And one of the things that kind of irritates me is that, the sin is that the 87 and 89 are two different bus lines. They're separate bus lines, pretty much doing the same thing. The thing is, you got your patrons on this side, on this section of Right Side Road. Once they get right here, and you'll notice if you're ever on the 89 or the 87, but really on the 89, as soon as you make the turn on the Painesville Road to get to this first bus stop, people are looking, and there's people on my 89 that, I don't do it now, but anytime I did, there was people on my 89 that will look out the window, peering for the 87. Cause you know if they miss it, they gotta wait another 40 minutes for the next one. So they already anticipating, I hope there's an 87. The hope I don't see an 87 because it means it's still down somewhere in Owens Mills. So as soon as you turn the corner, you see a whole bunch of them crossing literally, 5.5 lanes of traffic just to get to the other side for the 87. And it's vice versa it's vice versa. And so I decided, why not recombine them? Because I already got something combined, I already got something filling in for Rayland Court, and that's the 81. So why not recombine the 87 and 89? But for those who don't know, yes, we had bus lines that was letters and alphanumeric. So the M9 was one of them. So that's basically what it is. So basically what you see here, that's exactly what the M9. Well, the only difference is the M9 went to Right Sound Plaza. But of course, we got the 89 that goes to Route Station, which is actually better, to be honest. 93, we already talked about that in the previous video. And last but not least, the 94. So the 94 is, okay, let's jump into it because I always got to bring out the 34. So, okay, so the 34, this is, click on it perfectly, but this is the old 34. I could just add, I don't really need added on the Brooklynville, the Green Spring section. I just need to focus on Falls Road and Westview. But this is the 34 bus route as of the day. This is the new one that I'm going to be doing. A little shorter version. Now 94. 94 is going to take over the north end of the 34. So you got the south end of the 34's route that's going to end at Rogers Station. And 94 is going to take over the north end. And so 94 is going to follow exactly everything the current 34 does. So that means Kendall, this section of Kendall is no longer going to be served by any buses. And 94 is no longer going to serve Sinai Hospital. It's going to connect straight to Rogers Station and serve Pickwick and Cheswell, Glen Park, this general area. And then get to Mount Washington. Once you get to Mount Washington, it's going to follow pretty much straight down Falls Road until we get right here to 41st Street. So once we get here to 41st Street, 94, you see right here on this map, that's what 94 does. So 94 keeps straight down Falls Road and then turns on 36th Street for Hampton and come down. 94 is not going to do that. 94 is going to turn on to 41st Street. Which creates a new connection right here. You're not really missing much right here. Now, if there may be a patient right here like, oh man, you're taking the bus away from me. Sorry. Let's see a little more efficiency right here. So, and plus it's to make up for getting rid of 21 right here, but it's going to turn on 41st, then come down Roland Avenue. And then it's going to turn on 36th Street for Hampton. And then you see this little two-parter. So you see right here with the 94 only goes down one. And that's Chestnut Avenue. and take 33 onto Remington. Now the thing is, I got 94 doing this because there's an issue with bus, for a bus making a right turn right there. This will be probably the last time. Yeah, this will be the last time I use this map. So, where's that? Where's that? Hampton. So as you see right here, this is where 36th Street. So this is Chestnut Avenue, 36th Street. And so yes, they be holding block parties in Hampton each year. It's not this year, but you see right here how tight of a turn this is. So the bus stop was right here. A lot of times, what a bus has to do is dive bomb. So basically, you got to dive bomb into it. That means like literally going into a diagonal angle and leaving the back end literally out on the road, just so you block traffic. And when you turn fully all the way over. So you come in diagonal to pick up whoever's right there. So if someone needs to be picked up, pick them up right there. And turn your wheel fully all the way over, so that you cut back almost towards the trash can. This is basically what I had to do. And you got to cut back almost to this trash can, to the pole, and then whip around just to make this turn. That looks so grainy. This would be a good example of what we gotta see as a bus driver. But you got this. Imagine this. So this is this is 36th Street, Hampton. So during party nights, it's jumping. It has an abundance of cars parked here, which includes cars parking right here. Now, here's the fault on Baltimore City, because they got the no stopping sign right here. How convenient. You got no stopping sign in a place where the buses gotta make their turn. Because measurements doesn't, Baltimore's not known for using their brain, in case you're wondering. So matter of fact, then this is the perfect example. So imagine a car being right here and the car's parked right here is already impeding my turning process for a bus. And so I got to whip it around. Even then, when I do that, it's still still just a tight spot to turn to. So making right turns from off 36th Street onto Chestnut is not practical. Left turn is not a big deal. Right turn is the issue. So that's why I decided to go one block down. So instead of making that turn on Chestnut, right turn on Chestnut is going to go straight down 36th Street. Now again, I may have the same issue because again, this is a tight spot. You can go out of the way with it, but it'd probably be less of a hassle on Castlewood than it would be on Chestnut. And I make a turn on Chestnut and just go straight down. So basically that's, I think I close it out now because I don't really need it anymore, but I'll still save it. But yes, that's basically what it is. Just northbound would take Chestnut, southbound would take Castlewood Road. And then of course everything else pretty much the same for the 94. Right here at State Center, and I hate when it just got stuff just thrown all over the place. But this is what a 94 does a day. Northbound, it continues on Utah and turns on Martin Luther King, gets stuck in that traffic hellhole. It gets stuck on that traffic hellhole, and then turn on Howard, and then coming down, same thing on Howard Street, because you gotta wait for the signal for light rail, and that takes about 2.5 minutes. So that's about let me change that. That takes about 3 minutes. you pretty much lost like 3 minutes of your life just sitting at the light. Just sitting at this whole section right here, which Baltimore City, why y'all couldn't make things easier? So it would come straight down Howard Street and then turn on Madison and go on Utah. That's a 94. The old 94, my new 94, except it's going to do a more efficient method. It's going to take Utah over. It's not going to touch Martin Luther King Boulevard. It's not going to touch this section of House Street. It's just going to go Utah, and once it gets to Preston, which is a bus stop and stuff. And plus, I got a video board right here. I'm like, y'all got y'all put a video board on the side where you only got one bus, and that one bus is laying over at State Center. Like, Jesus Christ. But nonetheless, well, now it'll serve a purpose, because now you got the 94 and the 59 going for this. Now it serves its purpose. So 94 is going to take Preston Street and just cut between it. It's not going to do all that stuff. It's not going to do all this ridiculous stuff. It's going to be take the more efficient way and just take Preston while also connecting the State Center thoroughly. And now, of course, with 94, the old 94 goes all the way to Fort McHenry. So this is basically the 94 route. Fort McHenry, just Sinai Hospital. The new one that I designed is only going to go to Baltimore Ring. Now keep in mind, the 85 and the 94 are the only two bus lines through downtown that doesn't connect to everything. Go back up. So that's pretty much the 94. Now you say, what's 95? Yes, I found a way to get rid of 95.